Before we start sewing, let's go ahead and talk about how to use the machine safely. Now, the first thing I want to remind you to do is always get permission to use your sewing machine from an adult that's in charge. If you don't have permission to use your sewing machine, don't use it. Once you have permission to use your sewing machine, you want to get it out and place your sewing machine in an area that's been set up for you to sew in. The area that most people are afraid of is this area right through here. This is where your needle is at. Whenever you press on your presser foot, this needle goes up and down. Now the needle is very sharp. We want to make sure that we don't put our fingers under the needle or under the presser foot. Your presser foot goes up and down by raising the lever. If your fingers are under here and the needle comes down on them, you do run the risk of poking your fingers. So we want to make sure that we keep our fingers back here, away from the needle. So what we're going to do next is take the needle out of the machine. That's going to let us look at the machine more closely without worrying about touching the needle. You want to make sure to ask an adult for help taking out the needle. You'll find a screw here on the side, and that's what's going to loosen the needle. First thing we're going to do is take a piece of fabric, slide it underneath the presser foot, because we don't want our needle to fall down in this section here. I'm going to take a screwdriver, and I'm going to loosen the needle clamp, and the needle's going to come down and out. I'm going to take the needle and place it over to the side so that I don't lose it. Once the needle's out of the machine, then we're free to look at the machine, touch the parts, and not worry about accidentally touching the tip of the needle. It's important to remember that the plugs to your machine do have electricity going to them. Whenever your machine is plugged in, then there is power going to your machine. Most machines have an on-off switch. We're going to go ahead and turn this machine on. This area here is called your needle plate area. You have some feed dogs under here that pull the fabric, and this is your presser foot. We want to make sure that we never put our fingers under the presser foot or in the area where the needle is. Now we don't have a needle in here, so we don't have anything to worry about. Whenever we're guiding our fabric, we want to make sure that we keep our hands back out of the way. We want our hands to be back in this area here. That's going to give us the ability to control the fabric without worrying about the needle. Your presser foot is what controls how fast the sewing machine goes, so we'll talk about that next. Since we don't have a needle in the machine, when we press down on the pedal, we don't have to worry about the needle going up and down. So, go ahead and you can press on your foot pedal and just see how your needle goes up and down and get a feel for controlling the pedal. The harder you press down, the faster it's going to go. The lighter you press down, the slower it's going to go. So let me show you. I'm barely pressing down, so it's going very slowly. When I press down a little bit harder, it goes faster and faster. Part of sewing safely is going at a speed that we're able to control. So we want to start off pressing very lightly on the pedal. If you have the owner's manual that came with your machine, go ahead and get it out and just look through the parts of your machine. As long as your needle's not in there, you don't have to worry about that. Go ahead, press your buttons, and just get comfortable looking at the machine. In the next video, I'm going to go over the parts of the machine with you.